Hello and welcome. This is Carolyn Pitts with Intend Well. I'm an ACE certified health coach, and every week I share a video with health and wellness tips to help you live an intentional life and be your best self. I love to doodle. When I was in school, I would doodle in class all the time. Some of my teachers were okay with it. Some felt that I wasn't paying attention to the lecture. But the fact is, and I didn't know this when I was a kid, but I know it now, when we engage in doodling, we actually retain more information. See, our brains can hear and process what someone is saying faster than they can talk. So our brain has a few extra cycles in between listening to what someone's saying, and it tends to wander off and start thinking about other things like, what are we going to have for lunch? And what am I going to do after school today? But when we doodle, we are taking those extra cycles into something that we're doing with our hands, involves eye-hand coordination, and that occupies those extra cycles where our brain would go off and start thinking about something else that could interfere with us thinking about what's being said. So we actually, and studies have shown, we actually retain information better if we're doodling while we're listening. So what I'm going to do in today's video is I'm going to show you one of my favorite doodles, and it looks like this. So if you want to learn how to draw this, super easy, stick with me. I'm going to show you how. So for this drawing, I'm just using a simple ballpoint pen, a Uniball pen, just a plain sheet of white paper, any size. Bigger is good, because if it's too small, it's going to get really tedious. And it's just some cheap drawing paper. You can get it at any craft store. I'm going to start by drawing a square on the page. And one of the things that we will be doing is free drawing, or one of the things we'll be doing is drawing lines freehand. And they don't have to be perfectly straight. You want to make them as straight as you can by going slowly. And that's the whole idea of this particular exercise, is to help you slow down, slow your brain down, and help you to concentrate. So I drew lines through the middle of both sides of the square. So now I have 4 squares. I'm going to start with the square right here. And I'm going to put my pen right in the middle where all those lines come together. And I'm going to very slowly draw a straight line out to the edge. But I'm going to come in just a tiny bit. It's not going to be right on top of this line, but it's going to start where that line starts, and it's going to end just a little bit past that line. So it's like a long, skinny triangle. And that is the secret, my friends. That is all we are going to do. We're just going to keep on doing that. So I'm going to put my pen down where I picked it up from. I'm going to draw a straight line across to the next side, coming in just a little bit. One more time. Down this side and across. The whole idea here is not to create something beautiful. It's to help your brain slow down in a fun and relaxing way. You know, when we do yoga, my yoga instructor always says, it's not about the pose. It's not about getting into the perfect bend, because everybody's different. It's about what happens with your breath and your focus when you're doing yoga. So one thing I want to point out here is as I've been going around this square, notice I've been going in a clockwise position. And what I'm going to do with the other 4 squares, I'm going to go clockwise with this square, counterclockwise with the other 2. And that's what's going to make the really neat design. So with this square, I would just keep going like I've been going. And then when I get to this square, I'm going to start in the middle again. I'm going to go to the outside edge, start where I left off, over to the outside edge. But you notice now I'm moving in a counterclockwise position, or excuse me, direction. And just keep going around. Now, when you do this yourself, it's a whole lot easier when you can turn the page. I'm leaving the paper stationary for purposes of staying in the frame for the video. But when you do this yourself, feel free to move your paper in any direction that helps you position your hand so that you can comfortably draw a straight line. And that is it. So let's just keep on going and you'll see how it ends up. How was that? I hope you found that fun. You can keep going with your drawing. Just add squares in any direction and keep doing the design. The thing you want to keep in mind is you want to alternate clockwise and counterclockwise with your squares. And you'll get this fantastic design. You can just keep going all the way out and fill up the paper if you want. So if you enjoyed that, let me know down below in the comments or with the thumbs up, because I have some other doodles I could share with you if you're interested. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And remember, the best things in life are intentional, so intend well.